You are welcome to my presentation on make or buy decision. In this presentation, I will explain how to solve questions on make or buy decision. Please subscribe to the channel to keep up with my upcoming lectures. So what do we mean by make or buy decision? Make or buy decision is the act of choosing between manufacturing a product in-house or purchasing the product from an external supplier. The act of choosing between manufacturing the product in-house or purchasing the product from an external supplier. That is make or buy decision. So, in make or buy decision, you want to compare the supplier quotation with the relevant cost of making the product in-house. So, you have supplier quotation, from this you less relevant costs of making the product. Then you have the savings or deficit. Savings or deficit. So, where the supplier quotation exceeds the relevant cost of making the product, then the product should be bought. And where the relevant cost of making the product exceeds the supplier quotation, where the relevant cost of making the product exceeds the supplier quotation, in that case the product should be bought. And where the supplier quotation exceeds the relevant cost of making, then that means the product should be made. Where the supplier quotation exceeds the relevant cost of making the product, then the product should be made. And where the relevant cost of making the product exceeds the supplier quotation, then the product should be bought. So that is the decision involving making or buy decision, make or buy decision. So we want to take questions as work example. Shellfish Co. makes 4 components: W, X, Y, and Z, for which costs in the forthcoming year are expected to be as follows. Shellfish Co. makes 4 components: W, X, Y, and Z, for which costs in the forthcoming year are expected to be as follows. We have W, X, Y, and Z. This question is obtained from ACCA study test by BPP. We have production in units for W 1000, X 2000, Y 4000, and Z 3000. Then unit marginal cost in dollar. We have direct materials 4, 5, 2, 4 for W, X, Y, and Z respectively. Direct labor 8, 9, 4, and $6 for W, X, Y, and Z respectively. We have variable production overheads $2 for W, $3 for X, $1 for Y, and $2 for Z. We have the total marginal cost $14 for W, $17 for X, $7 for Y, and $12 for Z. Directly attributable fixed cost per annum and committed fixed costs are given incurred as a direct consequence of making W, and that is $1,000. Then we also have incurred as a direct consequence of making X, $5,000. Incurred as a direct consequence of making Y, $6,000. incurred as a direct consequence of making Z, $8,000. Other fixed cost committed, $30,000. Then we have $50,000 as the total. Directly attributable fixed costs are all items of cash expenditure. Directly attributable fixed costs are all items of cash expenditure that are incurred as a direct consequence of making the product in-house. A subcontractor has offered to supply units of W, X, Y, and Z for $12, $21, $10, and $14 respectively. The question now, should shellfish make or buy the components? Should shellfish make or buy the component? That is the question. Now, solution. You have shellfish. Shellfish. So we have make or buy. Make or buy decision. We have four products in question. Four products in question. You have product W. So we have products W, X, Y, and Z. These are the products in question. We have production in units. Production in units. For W, we have 1,000. For X, we have 2,000. For Y, we have 4,000. And for Z, we have 3,000. These are the production in units. I've told you that whenever problem involving make or buy decisions are given, then you have the supplier quotation. Supplier quotation. The external supplier, how much are they willing to offer for that offer the same product? A subcontractor has offered to supply units of W, X, Y, and Z for $12, $21, $10, and $14. Now, if they want to offer a unit of X for $12, I mean a unit of W for $12, $12 times 1,000 units. That $12 times 1,000 units, and that will give us $12,000. That of X, they want to offer it for $21 for X, $21. Then 21 times 2,000 times 21, and that will be $42,000. For Y, they want to offer it for $10. Then 10 times 4,000, 4,000 units times 10, and that will give us $40,000. And for Z, they want to offer it for $14. $14 times 3,000, 3,000 times $14, and that will give us $42,000. That is the supplier quotation. The amount the suppliers are willing to offer the same product. Then from this, you now less relevant cost of making the product. Relevant cost of making the product where the products are to be made in-house, how much will be the relevant cost of making the same products? Now, relevant cost of making the product. Now, try to watch my lecture on relevant costing for better understanding. Watch my lecture on relevant costing for better understanding. So the relevant costs now include materials, direct materials. Know the number of units of W is 1,000. 1,000 times $4, and that will be 4,000. Then 2,000 times 5, and that will be $10,000. Then 4,000 units times $2, and that will be $8,000. 3,000 units times $4, and that will be $12,000. That is for direct materials. Then direct labor, 1,000 units times $8. 1,000 units times $8, and that will be, let's have direct labor. 1,000 units times $8, and that will give us $8,000. 2,000 units times $9 per unit, and that will give us $18,000. 4,000 units times $4 per unit, and that will give us $16,000. 3,000 units times $6 per unit, and that will give us $18,000. Then we have variable production overheads. Variable production overheads. For W, we have $2 per unit. $2 times 1,000, and that will be 2,000. $3 times 2,000, and that will give us 6,000. $1 times 4,000, that will be $4,000. 3,000 units times $2 per unit, and that will be $6,000. And that is for variable overheads. Then we have directly attributable fixed cost per annum and committed fixed costs incurred as a direct consequence of making W. Directly attributable fixed cost. This is a specific fixed cost. The purpose of incurring them is as a result of making those products. Meaning that if these products are not to be made, this cost can be saved. That is, those costs will not be incurred. So the purpose of incurring them is as a result of making those products. Incurred as a direct consequence of making W. So since they were incurred as a result of making those products, that means they are specifically related to the production of those products. So they will be relevant. So we have the one incurred as a result of making W is 1,000. So we have 1,000. As a result of making X, 5,000. As a result of making Y, 6,000. And as a result of making Z, we have 8,000. Committed fixed costs are not relevant. This 30,000 is not relevant. So, Directly attributable fixed costs are all items of cash expenditure. They are cash items that are incurred as a direct consequence of making the products in-house. A subcontractor has offered to supply a units of W, X, Y, and Z for $12, $21, $10, and $14 respectively. Should Shellfish make or buy the product? So now, these are the relevant costs. So now, what is the total relevant cost of making the product? Total relevant cost of making the product. Let's have that to be B. And let's put the supplier quotation. Let's have that as A. Supplier quotation. Let's have it as A. The relevant cost of making, that is B. Now, so when you sum up this is 12,000, this is 14, 15,000. So now the relevant cost of making the product is 15,000 and the supplier quotation is 12,000. That means there will be, let's have savings or deficit. There will be a deficit of 3,000. 3,000 negative. The relevant cost of making exceeds what the supplier are willing to offer the same product. Therefore, the product should be supplied, should be bought. They should buy product W. For X, 10,000 plus 18,000, that is 28,000. 28,000 plus 6,000 plus 5,000. Then the relevant cost of making product X is 39,000. And suppliers are willing to offer 42,000. Then there will be a savings of 3,000. So in this case, they should make product X. Product X should be made. Now 8,000 plus 16,000 plus 4,000 plus 6,000. Then the relevant cost of making this is 34,000. And the supplier quotation is 40,000. Supplier are willing to offer the same product for 40,000. And if you are to make this same product, it will cost you 34,000. The relevant cost of making the product is 34,000. That means there will be a savings of 6,000. In this case, since the supplier quotation exceeds the relevant cost of making, product Y should be made. They should make product Y. Product Z now, 12,000 plus 18,000 plus 6,000 plus 8,000, and that is 44,000. The relevant cost of making product Z is 44,000. And suppliers are willing to offer the same product for 42,000. That means there will be a deficit of 2,000. In that case, product Z should be bought. Product Z should be bought. So now our decision Shellfish will save $3,000. Shellfish, that is the name of the company, would save $3,000. That is this $3,000 per annum by subcontracting product W. If they subcontract product W, they will save 3,000. In that case, product W should be supplied, should be subcontracted, and $2,000 per annum by subcontracting component Z, by subcontracting component Z. Therefore, your conclusion now will be that they should subcontract component W and component Z. These two should be subcontracted. While component X and Y, component X and Y, component X and Y should be produced in-house. They should produce component X and Y in-house. Please subscribe to this channel to keep up with my upcoming lectures.